Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle from SCB10X, and joining me today is Thanh, founder of 98, maker of the Coin 98 Super Wallet from Vietnam. Thanh, you've been an early builder in DeFi. Today, you've created this multi-chain ecosystem for crypto retail, and you truly are at the forefront of driving crypto adoption, especially in our region. So I'm really excited to dive in and hear more about your journey with 98. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Hi everyone. My name is Thanh. I'm the founder of 98. I think it's been a lucky for me to have opportunities to build build, survive, and growing in the last couple of years within cryptos. Learn a lot, fail a lot, make a lot of mistakes, and I think that it's yeah. And again, thanks SCP10X and also like Bloomberg for giving me opportunity today to like sharing about the journeys and what we have learned along the way as well.
Yeah, the pleasure is ours. So Thanh, maybe to start the session, could you please like share a bit about your background and take us back to when you got into crypto and started 98?
Yeah, for sure. I think my background was embedded system engineer. So I was studies and learn about how to design chips and CPUs and hardware and firmware. So during the universities in my third year, I started companies with my research folks. So back then I think I'm a researcher in the labs. Is where it's embedded system labs where we do a lot of research on how to design chips. And I think after like a couple of years working together in the labs, we decided to launching the first company together. And back then it's just like a dev house companies where we try because like I think like back then when we started in Vietnam, the technologies is not catching up with like what the world is doing right now at the time. So we decided to starting like a kind of like a dev house to receive jobs from like Silicon Valleys and other like developed countries to not only about making money but also like learn about the technologies and catch up with what the world is doing. And thanks to that opportunities where a lot of clients and partners in Silicon Valleys in Europe and Australia, they send us like a lot of materials and also documentations to learn about embedded system and stuff. And also they connect us with like some of the manufacturers in China where we're not only doing the academic research but also like bring this academics and design into life by partnering with all these kind of manufacturers. I do that for a couple of years before I kind of like burn out and I'm trying to explore the rest. Like, I think back in the day I code 08. So I work up at 6, sitting in front of the computer, code, until like 12 in the midnight and just like repeat it for a couple of years. So at times, pretty much burn out and I'm trying to like, like explore like the other part of my life, of myself. I always like curious about like whether or not if I can do the business, whether or not if other businessmen, whether or not if we can like figure out something that maybe like becoming a I think back then with when we learn about engineerings and technical, we learn about like technical architect, but we
Mm,
never. I'm also like curious if whether or not we can becoming a business architect or something like that as well.
mm,
Um, and I think at the time that we I'm pretty much burned out on the engineering side. So I decided to take a big rest, and then and after that I started a new companies doing e-commerce. I think it's just like for me it's just like a a venture where I want to learn more about the business myself. Um, so actually, I still have a lot of contacts since that, when I work with some manufacturers in China. So we decided to launch, to operate a private label business.
mm.
We do market research, finding like the winning products, doing some customizations and put a brand there and start selling it in the US. I think I do that for a couple of years, like 4 or 5 years, until I got into crypto. Initially, like it's I was introduced to Bitcoin from my friends, and they I think back then, business is pretty stable, it's profitable, so that's why my friends keep asking me to diversify the portfolio. They keep asking me about investing in Bitcoins, and that's why I got in started with cryptos. And I buy some Bitcoin, circular, make some monies, lose some monies. But I think that for me, there's one thing that I keep telling everyone else is that crypto really change, like choose me instead of I'm choosing it. Because if I take a look at, like, in hindsight, when I take a look back, where from my journey, I think my life was programmed to, like, divide it into chapters. Like for chapter one, I've learned about, like, technical auto technical skills and knowledge. And for the chapter two, I learn more about business. And at the time that I'm joining cryptos, I think maybe I'm not like 10 out of 10 of everything, but I think we're like at least we have a pretty, like, strong foundations on both technical and business perspective. So when I enter the crypto, it's very easy for me to start, like, going deep on both the from technical side and also on from the business side. And turn out, like, being somebody who can understand the language from both worlds, perfect positions where I can learn faster than anyone else, and I can make, I think at the times, is make better judgment than a lot of people. And I think, like, initially for the first 8 months, it's just like doing research and investments, but I think it's just like I couldn't stop. Like, even like, I'm still operating the e-commerce business back in the day, but I couldn't stop, like, learning about this. I read thousands of white papers just in 8 months. Um, and I think at times where, when I take a look at a new white paper, I can even predict, what they're going to say as well, because like, there's a lot of copycats back in the day. But in June, I think, like, the tipping point for me is, the turning point is in June 2018, where after months of doing research, where I think, like, I already had a pretty good foundations on, first, what is it, Bitcoin, what is, like why Web3 is important to the world, what is the next big thing. And when I take a look at other ecosystem and the whole community side, everyone's just starting to give up, because they just see that the Bitcoin price just went down from 20,000 to 6,000 in just like a couple of months, and they're losing hope. These people are mainly speculators. Not many people really like spending time to learn about the tech and also, like, the potential of it and why we're doing what we're doing at the time. So I think, like, the game is pretty much, like, resetted, and that's where I think I can see my edge in there, and then that's the reason why I think, like, the upsides for to go all in on crypto is huge. When the downside is not that big, I can always come back and operate a e-commerce business anytime. So that's where I think that I decided to start getting into crypto, start building Coin98 as a companies, and I think we got, like, we never look back.
I recall that period, that like 2017 period where everyone felt like, blockchain was, everyone sort of wrote off blockchain in the fintech sphere. So I know where you came from. Yeah. So I know a lot of us are familiar with, your flagship products like Coin98 Super Wallet and your DeFi exchange, but I think it might be helpful for the audience if we zoom out and, like, have, a top view of the pillars of 98's business, so they can appreciate the ecosystem that you've created, So maybe break down in your product business, and maybe talk a bit briefly about, the mission behind each pillar.
Yeah, for sure. I think like, so if you look back at the history of 98, I started 98 as a one-man show in 2017, and only starting to form the companies, as a company since 2018 is when I already have a clear pictures on what we're going to build. And I think, I think like I self-funded the companies for the first like 4 years and before everyone seeing our like fundraising announcement in 2021. So I think like, I started from the bottom, from like pretty much like zero, and on the capital side. But I think that, the for the first 3 years, the reason why I don't want to scale it big initially is just because I want to understand, like to build my understanding about this market first before we start scaling, right? So you have to understand what is the best opportunities, what is the founder market fit, what is the product market fit opportunities that you can tackle, and then what's your play before you start building the companies. So the first 3 years from 2018, 17 to 2019, I mainly focus on the doing I mainly focus on the doing research and building the communities. Because when I take a look at the business back in the day, I think like in 2017, 2018 and 19, there's no such thing called product market fit yet. I think back then, even like some of the layer ones that people are using nowadays is not existing yet. Like they're just like doing the ICOs, fundraising, but like, they're still in the development phases. Um, very few projects that already launched the mainnet, even not saying that, they even have the users back in the day. So how can we everything is uncertainties. There's only one thing that we know is that this is like this space have huge potentials, and whoever unlock that potentials will become, will capture a lot of values, and you will be rewarded by contributing to make that happens, right? And to unlock that potentials. And for us, I think like, and nobody's know that, what it is. And I think in that environment, we decided to um, build our knowledge first. And in that, uncertainties environments, one thing that I like my mindset and what I thought back in the day was, I think that, the product, we don't even know what is the product market fit in this market yet, right? And everyone's just finding it. But one thing that, pretty clear to me is that you every product will need a communities. And which means that, as a companies, you should have at least two skills. One is like you have enough skills to build a really good product, and you also have a really good skill to build a really good community as well. And for me, I think like, with all the resources we have in back in the day, which is very limited, starting building the community first, understand how to build the best communities out there. And in the meantime, also learning about, and just like gaining and learning more knowledge over time is a very good, starting point for us. So that's why, the first 3 years, I mainly focus on doing research, medias, and like making investment ourselves, to learn more about how to get involved and building in this industry. By the end of 2019, I think we're becoming the number one in Vietnam. Like it's not because like we're like we're the best guys at doing that. It's just like, but I believe, we're the strongest, like, convictions builders back in the day, where we're still commit time, our effort and resources, to make that happen. And into 2019, nobody's like believe in Bitcoin anymore. It's still it's in the bottom of the bear market. Everyone's is like, struggling with like what's this, like, whether or not I should stay. Um, and then I think like, when we keep continue to build and also expanding, instead of just scaling down, it's very easy for us to becoming the number one in Vietnam. And then that's where I think that, and right after that, I also expanding, like I start expanding the media arm to a global market as well. And then it's also quickly gained a lot of tractions. A lot of you know about Coin98 Analytics Twitter accounts nowadays is still one of a very trusted source for everyone, for a lot of like global medias nowadays to using our data and also analytics stats. And I think that's where it's just really like, make me think that, and bring me the confidence that seems like, the knowledge base that we gain and we learn in the last like 3 years, now catching up with whatever that, and seems like, it's also super helpful with anywhere in anybody's that, want to get involved in this space in the world as well. And it's bringing me the confidence and, seems like, we're ready to start playing a global games with the resources and with the position that we have at the time. And that's where we, with all the technical background and everything that we have built in the past, I think that's we officially restructured the companies into the holding companies and started building the first product under our holdings, which is the Coin Wallet. And I think like with the community base that we already have, when we launched the wallet, I think it's quickly gaining tractions. I think in the first 3 months we have like 200,000 users or so. And then after that, from I think our deep understanding in the market and also I think we make a pretty good judgment back in the day where we make a good bet on Solana, and we work closely with the Solana team back in the day to start to expanding Solana communities in Vietnam and Southeast Asia. And we make like, I think its turnout is really pay off for that position as well. On the community side, in 2020s, nobody's like using Solana yet, and then we are one of the first wallet to support Solana. So it's help us to it's just like a low hanging fruit strategies for us to acquire the users. And then I think after that we have we're making like we invest in Solana at 60 cents or so as well, and then it's right all the way up to like 250 for the last cycles. I think it's really one of the very well-known bets that a lot of people that like seeing us making a bet in public, not only on on investment but also showing the high convictions and so and also like contribute a lot of value into the ecosystem as well. That's how we getting started. And then I think like in 2021 with all the traction we have, people we started getting some investment from other VCs, as you might know. And after that, I think we also got lucky when we got into Binance as well. At a time where a lot of people only have a product, don't have a lot of users. When we're in a perfect positions where we have we're a team like showing the convictions for for 5 years, and we have the product with good user base, and it's a working products, and it just like we got lucky to get opportunities to do the Binance Launchpad. And then after Binance Launchpad, we have even more exposure to the global communities, and I think we leverage that tractions a lot to start expanding the user base since then. In 2022 and 2023, we're starting to because now 98 Coin98 wallet have like 9 million users already. We're starting to figure out ways to offer more services that being helpful to the users of the wallet. That's where we decided and after working with like hundreds or if not thousands of partners, there's still like a lot of things and features that we think is not fully optimized for our users yet. So that's this where we decided to start initially it's just like start building some kind of features within a wallet, and over time, because the scope of this kind of features becoming so big, where we decided to spin out these features to becoming a new companies and build a protocol and surfing back into the wallet. And yeah, I think for on the product side, it's just like a very natural way to grow. Since the beginning, we decided we're starting with a distribution layer with a wallet, where to acquire a lot of users. Over time, there's a lot of bespoke and customized services that we think is makes sense for our users. Where there's a lot, of course, there are a lot of people that are building similar things, but we know our users best, and that's where we like just over time just starting building an infra that just like fulfill the demand of our users. Yeah, and on the venture side, I think we also have the venture arm. This is just like a better scale of our initial investment since the beginning. Um, I think when people know about Coin98, especially from Southeast Asia or from the global communities, people just see that we're starting as a wallet company, but it's not true. I think we started Coin98 and 98 right now, way before that. And then investment is still, our main business since the beginning, since when it started, right? So we make investment, we reinvest like the profit into building the companies and just doing that. And Coin98 wallet from the beginning is like, a part of the whole ecosystem where we started.
Yeah. You mentioned 9 million users today, right?
Yeah.
In terms of your wallet users, what is the split between your Vietnam user base, your Southeast Asia user base, and like rest of the world? Like,
This is also a very interesting stat as well. I think in 2020 is when we got started. I think 99% of the users is Vietnamese because that's where we're strong at, right? Over time, especially after we got listed on Binance and also expanding our communities, I think over time that we have a lot more growth on other market as well. I think with the current demographic, we have about like 25 to 30% of the user base is coming from Vietnam. The next 50% probably, mainly focus on Asia. So we have users from Thailand, we have users from Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Taiwan, Korea, other countries as well. And I think the rest is like a bit, Turkey, a bit like, Latin America, a bit in South, Africa and Europe and US as well.
There's so much I want to cover, but I wanted to spotlight a bit on some recent developments.
Yep.
So on the venture front, I think you announced Compass, Starship, and this 25 million ecosystem fund. So can you talk very quickly about their scope and why you wanted to pursue these tracks?
Yeah, so I think we've been like first of all, we still I think like again our main business since day one is investment. So that's the exactly way that we operated. And so we found and also we fund companies that making Web3 accessible for everyone. After the success of C98 in 2021. There's a lot of people coming to us and asking for advices. And I know that there's so many people that, especially young founders in Asia, want to approach us, but in some way they don't have the right channels or the right connections to connect to us. And then I think before that, most of our deal flow is just coming through referrals. So if you are a young founders that even if you're building amazing product, we don't have a channels or a way for you to engage with 98 yet. So that's number one. Number two is that from our engagement with our portfolio companies when we support them, we know that there's a like Asian founders usually miss a lot of skill sets. They might be really good at building a product, but like they have no idea on how to design the tokens, how to go with fundraise, what is like the best way to structure the companies, how to build your companies and like do risk management or even like think about how to build companies in long terms. A lot of this is just a lack of experience of building a companies. And I think at our scales that where we have a decent amount of like user base, we have a decent amount of tractions with with the fundraising, with the token side and capital experience. I think and from our engagement with our portfolio, we usually have to like give them a lot of advices as well. And I think that this is not like, doing just like bespoke and customized like one-on-one sections like this usually bring like the best results for these teams, but it's not the best way to scale because our time is limited. That's the like the most scarcity resources that we have right now. So we think about what if we can introducing a new way, more structure and with better scalabilities to support all these kind of young founders. And it's come up with the compass where even if you don't know us before, if you build a great product, you can just apply for compass. And we wanna along the way we wanna structure programs where we can training more, like give you more experience on whatever we build. But now instead of just like having one-on-one sections, we can have like a group of maybe 10 or 20 people that we can teach them all at once. So that's the idea of Compass. On the 25 million, it's just like a follow on after that, because like we don't want to just like, we are not working as a advisory firm where we just come out and like take your free allocations or something like that for advices. I think like our main DNA is still maintained as investors. So we want to put our stake first. Take our money and now we work for you. So that's the reason why go alongside with the Compass Accelerator. We're also introducing the ecosystem fund where we put the money where our mouth at. So
And that's particularly for Southeast Asia founders, right?
It's for everyone, I would say, but I think like of course the main if you are in Southeast Asia, is also have like a lot higher priorities for us because this is where we're strong at. It's just like I feel like your homies, and then we grow up here. We want to support these people as well. But it doesn't mean it's 100% exclusive to Southeast Asia, right? I think anyone in the world, like crypto is like for everyone, in the world, no matter where you are. So as long as if you need help, if you are fully aligned with the visions and so the value that we're building for, then you're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we're up on time, but one last question I want to ask is, how do you feel about what you've achieved so far with 98?
I think that we're still like as a very beginning phase. A lot, I think like for me it's just like a learning journey than more than anything else. It's not about like making money. It's not about trying to build amazing things or something like that. It's just like from my personal inspiration for this is that I'm also curious how far we can go, how far we can building, how big we can build these companies right here from Southeast Asia. With all these limited resources, and thanks to crypto, now we have a better way to value what we build as well, compared to the traditional way. And I think like along the way I've also learned a lot. We also make a lot of mistakes along the way because I think for everything that we build at 98, I don't have a mentor. We just like taking a very a skeptical approach where we do the research first, and just trying to make like rationale judgment based on what all the information we have at the time, and just do it. And over time we just like take lessons, and when we just move on and trying to do better. And I also like give a huge credit and to assistancy, and also some of the companies like YC in the US, where they public order playbook to the internet. That's where we can also learn a lot from all these kind of publications, or from their podcasts, from like the game plan that they're playing. and also like such a very good inspiration for us to like applying everything that people in the US is talking about. But like, and starting as a local company that's now becoming a global company for 98. So I think, I'm excited for, I still think that, there's a lot of things that we need to fix. We need to also improve, and we can do better at 98. And again, I think for me, it's just a learning journey. I don't think that this is the end of 98. I don't think that we even had to a certain level that we need to be, we think isn't enough. I think we just like at the beginning where we have some, I think we make some progress. And then at some point that, people and the size of the people that we serve right now is getting bigger as well. But if you take a look at, we also wanted to build a companies to fulfill like billions of people in the world. And if you take a look at our users right now, just like 9 million, it's just like very little. So I think from 9 million to maybe like 2-3 billion is still a very long way to go. And yeah, we're humble to, and we're very excited to see how far we can go. And I think like I think we for me, building in this space is like a part of my life. Yeah, I don't see anytime soon that we need to give up on this dream. For me, it's just like doing and going to the office every day is right now just living my life, and then and you just leave it, right? So yeah, hopefully we can do it for a lot more decades.
And thank you so much for your time. I want to applaud you for your long-term grit in bringing DeFi to the masses and paying it forward. Thank you. Really appreciate your time. I think our time is up. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.